Hey everyone, my name is Michael Seiger and I'm the publisher of DomainSherpa.com, the domain name authority. We've all been down and out. We've failed at things that we've tried. Sometimes it's our actions, other times it's things completely out of our control. The housing bubble collapse is a good example. In 2008, today's guest found himself picking up the pieces of his life and trying to figure out what to do next. He started amassing a valuable domain name portfolio and is now going head-to-head with an online Goliath, Google, and is, interestingly enough, relying on Google at the same time to build his business. Joining me today is Jake Ackerman, founder of ZipSmart, which allows companies to own their zip code online for products and services, and in the process, generate customer leads. I invited him here to talk about his company, the need for it, and how he's growing it. I also want to dig deep into two really important areas of his business that domainers should be interested in. First, I want to hear how he built the technology that runs his company. And second, I want to hear how Jake set up his sales and business development process, because I know that Jake has a sales force and he's sold 20,000 zip codes. And we're going to talk about what that means. I want to find out how he does it, and I want to learn some of his ideas. Of course, I want you to learn his ideas so you can apply them and grow your own domain name business. Then you can come back to Domain Sherpa and tell your story, give back to the community, and help guide others to success. So welcome, Jake, and thanks for doing today's interview.
Thank you very much, Michael. I appreciate the opportunity to be on with you.
I met you a month ago at Domain Fest in February 2011, beautiful Santa Monica, California. The sun was out, it was warm, I was loving it. You were involved in the Pitch Fest competition that took place at Domain Fest. I loved your business idea. I want to start, the first question that I have is about the company ZipSmart itself. Can you tell me a story about how the typical customer might interact with your business? Help me understand the product that you're selling.
Perfect. What we do is we take a high-value domain asset, let's just say, for example, like furnacerepair.com. It's a search that thousands of consumers every single month find themselves literally left out in the cold, and basically they go to Google and they type in furnace repair. So we take a site like furnacerepair.com and we go through all the gyrations that you have to do to get it ranked on Google, from the social media to the blog content and you know, a national database infrastructure, and we get it ranked. And then we come to businesses and we say, hey, you can be on our directory for free, or if you want to be aggressive and own all the leads that we're getting, you can buy the zip codes that you want to buy. And when you do that, you become the only guy that shows up in that marketplace, and you get the opportunity to share whatever your message is with the consumer about the furnace repair business that you operate in Dallas or Denver, if that makes sense.
That does. So I live here in Seattle, Washington. If I own a furnace repair company, I type in furnace repair Seattle, I find furnacerepair.com. It shows me and all my competitors, and then I can say, I want to be promoted in this directory, and for a certain dollar amount, I can lock out all of my competition and be the only one listed there?
That's exactly right. So you can own your zip codes, and when you own your zip codes, you become the only company that gets listed in one of our directories.
Oh, okay. So since there are, say, 10 zip codes in the Seattle area, I can buy all 10 zip codes.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, I talk to a lot of internet business owners, and they say, well, why would you give somebody exclusivity? You need to sell advertising space. You need to sell traffic. You need to sell 10 other things. And we've gone to great lengths to make sure, for example, we don't have banner ads and click ads and side ads and all kinds of other things on our sites. Our sites are pretty straightforward, and we really do only sell our traffic to that one person in that area. And people are shocked when we tell them that. Why? They say, why would you limit yourself to just being able to do one person per area? It sounds like a lot of brain damage. But what we find is when the customers get that relationship and they get all the benefits, it creates a stronger relationship for the customer. They get more value, and they have a lot less frustration. They're not questioning the quality of our leads and the other things, because they have a far higher closing percentage than they would with leads from some of the other lead aggregators out there. So we've had great feedback from our customers for sure.
I can see that. I can see why owning a zip code and being the only one would be fantastic for a customer. So if I, as the user, my furnace just went dead. I type in furnacerepair.com or I type in furnace repair Seattle. I find your site. I find A1 Furnace Repair is buying that that sponsored listing at the top, or buying the directory sponsorship. What do I, as the customer, as a user who needs furnace repair, see? Do I click on it and get a form? How does that work?
That's one of the things that we actually are the most excited about. A lot of our directories will say, find a furnace repair professional in one click, or find a plumbing service professional in one click, or whatever, find a landscaping contractor in one click. And so instead of you as a consumer having to go through the brain damage of, okay, now they want my name, they want how many bedrooms my house has, how many square feet, is it what type of equipment do you have, instead of having to fill out all that information, the customers love it, and we have a very good click-through rate and response rate from the customers, because they can simply just go in, enter their zip code, and bam, they're navigated directly to that customer. And on that first page, without ever having to fill out a complicated form, they can get the business owner's name, address, phone number, a link to that business owner's website if they want to dig deeper. The business owner can put a lot of information about their company, pictures, photos, Better Business Bureau, those kinds of things right on their quote-unquote company view. And when they do that, the business owner tends to get a lot of value. The customer says, okay, what I'm looking at isn't just a directory with 25 companies. I'm looking at a company here in Seattle, A1 Heating or whatever the example you gave, and they do exactly what I'm looking for, and I can pick up the phone and call them, or I can fill out what we call a quick form and have them call me, and I don't have to go through the brain damage of being an extracted lead that now I'm going to take 10 phone calls over the next 3 days from different companies because I got sold, my information got sold all over the internet.
Exactly. I think a lot of consumers are afraid of filling out forms nowadays because, companies like LendingTree will actually take their detailed information and then sell it 10 times over, and now you're getting emails from a bunch of people. So you don't do that. You either let people look at all the information of the local provider and they can contact themselves, or you have a quick form. They say, give me a call, and the provider calls them directly.
That's exactly right. And that information is given to that provider and that provider only.
And do you provide some sort of assurance to the consumer that their information won't be sold, won't be bartered, provided to other companies, that it's only going to one company?
That is a great question. We do provide that information. It's in the terms and conditions of the website. The privacy policy, I guess, is where that would be found, although we may want to do a better job at actually marketing that to the consumer than we're currently doing. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Good. I'm glad I could help. Okay, so I've got a ton more questions that I want to dig into the details of your business, Jake, because I think it's fantastic. I want to take a step back. I want to figure out how you got to this point. Can you walk us through? So first of all, tell me, what year did you launch ZipSmart.com?
We launched ZipSmart.com in about February of 2010.
Okay, February 2010. So walk me through your professional career at a 10,000 foot level to tell me how you came up with the idea for ZipSmart and what led you to having the skills to be able to do something like this.
Well, it is a long story, but I'll keep it at the 10 or maybe even 20 or 30,000 foot level.
What is that going on in the background there, Jake?
I don't know. It's definitely a distraction. Hold on a second.
So our readers, our watchers can actually see this is non-scripted. This is real life happening.
Gosh darn it! I apologize.
No worries at all.
So
you were about to tell us how you got to the point where you built up the skills and came up with the idea for ZipSmart, owning your own zip code. Right.
So professionally, I was in a place of really just trying to figure out which way was up. We had a real estate business, and I've told people on several occasions, watching that die was kind of like watching my ego, my credit, my reputation, and really my entire life absolutely be turned upside down, little bit at a time. And for some people, I think it happened quickly. For me, the process of the real estate bubble was definitely, I can definitely remember a day when it burst, and it was, it was a shock. But, it really took 2 or 3 years to wind that business down. And it just seemed like the bad news just kept coming, one thing after another. And I was trying to figure out what to do. I had been an internet entrepreneur before, with a previous business called Ascend Web Solutions. And I definitely enjoy and am good at sales. So I thought that might be a place to go, and was invited by a dear friend to go sell pest control. And if you can believe it, I just didn't know what to do, and I actually decided I would head to sunny Southern California and sell pest control, which I tried. And in the process of doing that, I thought, here I am, literally speaking, Michael, I'm knocking door, I'm going door to door, knocking on doors and saying, hi, can I help you with your pest control services? And which was really, a blow from where we had been with the real estate stuff. But as we moved, as I started thinking about things, gosh, there ought to be a way for me to get pest control. There ought to be a way for me to get customers faster. There's got to be people looking on Google. So I started investigating how we could generate pest control leads. And through that, and through just kind of an accident, I happened to call a gentleman named Paige Howe, who's been a terrific asset and friend to me. Basically, I was able to buy a couple of pest control names, and from there we started developing leads and building a lead generation model, and over a period of time, basically the idea for ZipSmart just sort of came to fruition. It was definitely a painful process, but it was a process of sort of, really reinvention. People talk about reinvention all the time, but it definitely, it wasn't easy, but it was one step at a time.
Sure. So you started buying domain names that were related to pest control, and then what did you do with these domain names to try and get more leads for your friend's pest control business? I had a friend who was a web developer, and I said, hey, do you think we can, these are okay names. Do you think we can get these ranked on Google? Do you think we can build a website? And the first couple of websites that we built, quite literally, were just pest control websites. And we put a phone number on there and route the phone number to my cell phone, and we were testing a lot of different things. And then finally, one day I took a step back and I said, geez, I can do this for pest control, but why can't I do this for a whole lot of other industries as well? Mm-hmm. And if we're going to build one site, why don't we build a technology that will allow us to just do this better and do it on a mass scale? And so that's kind of how it kicked off. Sure. So you saw the idea. You weren't invested into pest control itself. You saw that this one idea could be applied to a bunch of other service businesses. And so you started to think, how can I come up with a bigger idea to serve more industries?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And then that was the inception. That was the idea for ZipSmart, the first idea for ZipSmart.
Yeah, at that point we said, rather than just trying to get more phone calls in Southern California for our pest control business, what if we try to generate phone calls in other places besides just Southern California? We don't provide pest control services there, but there's people all over the place who want those pest control leads. And if they can buy their zip code